We welcome you to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. From Boise, Idaho, the goal tonight for the Broncos, defend the blue. Air Force is here on the road in a key Mountain West Conference matchup late in the season. Air Force with a win tonight and a New Mexico loss tomorrow against Colorado State would be the Mountain Division champion. Boise needs a win and a New Mexico loss to claim the title. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti with College Football Hall of Famer Mike Bellotti. Allison Williams is downstairs. She'll join us shortly. Something happened here this past week that doesn't happen very much. 5 losses last 16 years for Boise at home. One of them last week. How do they bounce back?
Well, they've got it, and it's a tough deal because they've got Air Force, which is a very difficult team to prepare for. But Coach Harsin will not let them lose on the blue.
Meantime, this Air Force team offensively is so dangerous with this triple option attack.
Well, they have multiple formations and multiple options, and plus they can run the power I. So the reality is you got to defend a lot of things, but when you stop the option, you have to stop the inside dive. The very first play, they're going to tell you those linebackers, those interior tackles have to do a good job or they're going to run that ball down your throat. Then when you get set inside, you've got to be ready for the quarterback taking the speed sweep outside, the sweep option, and or the trickeration of the reverse. And watch out for Rosnett tonight. He is an amazing athlete. Now, the other thing is the secondary needs to keep their eyes right. Here's a play action fake. If you get caught looking in the backfield, you will get beat deep for big plays.
As you might expect, Air Force is 3rd best in the FBS in rushing. Boise State's rush defense has been fantastic as well, so we'll see what gives tonight. Meantime, for Boise State, down a quarterback in September. Ryan Finley was injured, so Mr. Rypien took over. Brett Rypien, the freshman, a true freshman, has taken the reins for Boise State.
He has great poise. The coaches like him a lot. He played in a passing offense in high school. He is not the most mobile quarterback, but he has a great sense of the pocket. He understands how to read coverages. He's got a favorite receiver in Thomas Spurbeck, but they like him. His leadership is increasing every day. He came out and spoke for the first time on television last week, and he did a great job. I think he's accepting that leadership role that's been thrust upon him.
It is senior night in Boise. Some of those seniors, though, will not play. For that, downstairs, Allison Williams. Hello, Allison.
Yeah, Jason, a lot of those seniors in street clothes here for their final game on the blue. One of them, receiver Shane Williams-Rhodes. He's 2nd on the team with 54 receptions, but will not play tonight because of an ankle injury. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, a number of injuries in the secondary. They're already thin. Dylan Sumner-Gardner, their safety, has been out since October. Now they without senior safety Darian Thompson. He suffered a concussion last week, cannot play. And this is a guy that has started every game for them. He's their leader in tackles, their leader on the field, helping with adjustment. So that is a big loss. That does mean more of the responsibility will fall on the shoulders of Dante Dion. He was a game time decision with a knee injury, but the quarterback will be able to play. And that's big because there's a lot of inexperience for a secondary that has to be disciplined against this triple option, guys.
Allison, thank you. You get one ball hawk back in Dion Thompson out. And for Brian Harsin, 19 up and 5 down in his 2nd season. He'd rather that 1 be a 0 in the home record after last week's loss to New Mexico, 31-24, nearly a comeback win. Couldn't do it down the stretch. And so Boise, 4-2 in the league, trying to bounce back.
Well, and they want to run the ball more tonight. Coach Harsin wasn't excited about throwing it 75 times last week.
Terrell Johnson from a couple yards deep, and he's short of the 20-yard line. Told you about the freshman quarterback from Spokane, Brett Rypien, who set a Mountain West freshman record last week with 503 passing yards.
Great feel for the game, great poise in the pocket. He reads well. He'll improve as he gets stronger and fundamentally more secure in his throws. But right now, they have to protect him. He's not a mobile quarterback, so watch for them to run the football and then use the screen game to keep the defense honest.
Very talented sophomore running back with him, Jeremy McNichols, who scored in 9 straight games. And it's McNichols on first down with a burst. Foot race for McNichols. What a start for Boise State.
And that is just what the doctor ordered for Boise State. They needed to run the football. They thought they had the opportunity for big plays. It was what the Air Force defense was afraid of, the speed in space.
Longest run of the career for McNichols. And his 10th straight game with a touchdown. That's a Mountain West record. 10 consecutive games with a score for McNichols.
And this is one of the standard plays in the arsenal. You can see the zone read here. Great block inside by the tight end. And then it's off to the races. And the Air Force defense does not possess the speed to run down McNichols in the open field.
Well, we talked to Brian Harsin during the week, and he said we've got to defend the blue, defend our home turf. Can't have a much better start than this.
No, and this is what they want to do. They do not want to be forced to have to throw the ball. They want to run and impose their will on the opponent. In fact, we talked about Air Force being so worried about the speed and space issue that if the ball is kicked anywhere in the end zone, they will down it just to get to the 25-yard line. They don't trust their return team.
Gonna have to take it here. Tyler Williams. A hurdle to the 22-yard line. So we'll see the senior quarterback, Carson Roberts. Doesn't throw much, but he's the man that steers the offense.
Well, what's amazing is their offense is 9th in the nation in pass efficiency. They don't throw it a lot, but when they do, they get big plays, first downs or touchdowns. He's a very sneaky runner. He's got sneaky speed, makes great decisions. He's what makes that option offense go.
This is the best offense that Troy Calhoun has had in his time at Air Force. 34 points a game, in the top 35 of the country. Williams in motion, and the ball's loose. Boise's on it. Tanner Vallejo, the linebacker, knocked it free, and Ben Weaver's on it.
And as the visitor in an opponent's stadium, you do not want to turn the ball over. That's the one thing the option quarterback cannot do, is pitch late. You're better to stay on that football, hold it, save the down, save the possession of the football.
It's the first turnover in 4 games for Air Force.
And I'm not sure that wasn't just a great defensive play. That was not an opportunity or a try at throwing it away. It's just a strip by the would-be tackler coming in. Great job.
Well, with all the turnover issues last year in this game, Air Force beat Boise 28-14. Boise State turns it over 7 times in that game, and an outstanding start for the Broncos tonight.
Typically, when you win the turnover battle, you win the game. Some would say, though, that you have to score off the turnover.
McNichols gets a breather. Ryan Wolpen, the walk-on, is in. And now McNichols came into the backfield and is ushered out by Jesse Washington, the junior defensive back. Second down.
Very nice job by the Air Force defense, forcing that ball to the sideline, to the 12th defender. Every defense will not allow, does not want to allow a running back to go north and south. Let him go east and west. Use the sideline as your 12th defender.
Second down for Rypien. He will run, and third down coming up. That's not usually in his arsenal.
No, and I'll tell you what, they talked about the need, though, in the red zone for some quarterback runs. Most defenses start to load the box at that point, and I thought they might go to the Wildcat, but they decided to go ahead and let him run, and that's not his strength.
May see Thomas Spurbeck, the leading receiver, back there at some point this evening as well. Rypien under pressure, incomplete.
This is what Air Force does best, and until last week when they faced a lot of max protections, they were able to make the quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. They come after you, and they're very willing to play man-to-man and match up in that secondary.
Yeah, talking to Steve Russ, the defensive coordinator, he says, look, we're not going to change what we do. We like to bring pressure. We're going to challenge you. As Rossa comes on, After an early miss last week against New Mexico, he knocks this one through. Jeremy McNichols from 83 on the opening play from scrimmage. Boise State off and rolling with great energy tonight. Since the year 2000, Boise State has only lost 5 times on its blue turf. They come out wielding the hammer to show fortitude, and they have so far today with a 10-0 lead and a ringer of a first 2 possessions for Boise State. If you're Air Force, how do you bounce back?
Well, that's an uncharacteristic turnover, as we talk about. They usually do not beat themselves. They just have to make sure they take care of the football. They'll find a different way, maybe trying to attack the middle without getting to the edge. They may not have the speed to attack Boise that way.
As you mentioned, Air Force will allow for touchbacks after a punt last time for Air Force. They'll run it straight up the middle with that dive. Jacoby Owens inside the 15-yard line. Dante Dion tracked him down.
Jacoby Owens, the guy we talked about, that they have moved to the fullback position. He's a more explosive guy. He's got the speed to finish it. He was a tailback, halfback in this offense initially, and that's the first thing you have to stop. We talk about that dive every time. It's coming out. You've got to stop the A and B gaps. Linebackers have to stay alive. Secondary's got to keep the eyes right.
Longest run of the year for Owens. First down from the 12. After a 59-yarder, he's got 8 more inside the 5. Chancellor James spiked him down, and Owens is hurt.
Yeah, that would be a big blow because they really don't have as much depth there as they would like, and he's the most explosive back. He just bounced that one gap outside. It's a similar type play. He's just reading the first down lineman outside the center.
He's waving the training staff off and will stay in. 2nd and 1, call it. Roberts the keeper, and they drive the pile to the 1-yard line. Ball came loose, they blow it dead. Play's been blown dead. Kamale Correa ran away with the football. Let's take a listen for the whistle.
That ball looked like it was sitting there.
And so it was before the whistle. If you have continuous action leading to a recovery, 1st and goal from the 1. Owens could not find a gap, and the ball came loose again. Ben Weaver made the hit, and Air Force loses more yards, back to the 4.
See it at this level, they're trying to run a pulley, guard or tackle. He's kicking out. I think that, well, that ball might be out again. It's hard to tell. I didn't see where his knee was in terms of the ball.
Looked like that one was out, and Troy Calhoun, whose team hadn't turned the ball over.
Well, that ball is out for sure, I believe. Whoa.
First play tonight for Boise went 83 yards and a touchdown. Air Force trying to stand up inside Boise's red zone. Carson Roberts is knocked down at the 2. Ben Weaver once again, the linebacker, shot the gap.
Boise defense doing a great job of bowing their back right here. That's usually a play. Carson Roberts has been very effective scoring touchdowns down at that area. One of the leading scorers in the nation in that regard, and the Boise defense just stepped up and said no.
Third and goal. Outside of the pitch, and just short of the goal line, Tyler Williams. Tanner Vallejo got in there.
So now the question is, do you take some points for the field goal? I believe Air Force will probably go for this. They've been known to, but I could be wrong.
What would you do?
Well, when you're the opponent and the visitors, I think you're going to have to score points. I'd go for the touchdown. I trust the option down there, although Boise's defense has made 3 spectacular plays to stop them.
Luke Strable from 18. And Air Force is on the board. Air Force sets it up with a long run from Jacoby Owens and got inside the 5, but couldn't pound it in. Boise State holds the line. Brian Harsin frustrated with the officials tonight. Thought he could have had a couple of fumbles, including on a 3rd down run from Brian Driscoll of Air Force. Looked like the ball came loose.
Well, he has good reason. If we see it from this angle, watch the ball here. It is out right there before any part of the running back touches down. So I'm not sure what's going on. That should have been, that's a fumble right there. That's a live ball.
Couple close plays on that last drive. And Air Force, the beneficiary, keeping the ball with a field goal to crack the score column. Terrell Johnson from inside the 5 got caught up in the wash across the 20, and that's where Boise State will start. Run it again. McNichols squeezes through the hole and hits Healy one more time. 2nd down on the way. Well, Jeremy McNichols coming in with 19 total touchdowns. He's got 20 this season. He was going to redshirt until October of last year. They put him into the lineup, had a solid finish to the season, and he's become the starting running back ahead of the Stanford transfer Kelsey Young this year. Conservative play calling for Boise State without one of its top receivers, Shane Williams-Rhodes, and 3rd down.
We talked about this may be a very short football game because both teams are tending to run the football. And Coach Harsin said coming in, Boise needs to run the football, reestablish the ground game, reestablish our dominance at the line of scrimmage. And obviously, we know that that's Air Force's forte also.
They're down 224 career catches in a winter hat on the sideline. Shane Williams-Rhodes, 3rd down and 3 for Boise State. Rypien on the move. Wide open man is tight end Jake Rowe, who they thought could be an X factor today. The sophomore has a 1st down for the Broncos.
That was a combination of sort of a rub route and just a defensive missed assignment. Those guys have to be willing to pass those guys off, or the defender has to come under. But that time the rub route, not a pick route, worked very well for the offense.
It's a bullet from Rypien, and he's got a 1st down. Chaz Anderson, who had trouble with drops last week, has enough to move the sticks.
We talked to the coaching staff, and they said if there's one guy that needs to step up tonight, it's Chaz Anderson. He had some opportunities last week, wasn't able to take advantage of it, but he's the kind of athlete that in space can make a lot of plays, and he needs to fight for the contested balls more.
3 for 3, 3rd down on this drive for Boise State. Kelsey Young, the Stanford transfer, and Santo Coppola, the sophomore from Santa Fe, was there. Talking about Anderson, how as a player in college football do you bounce back, and how do you try and convince a player to bounce back like Anderson?
Well, he has the physical skills. It's all about just the mental toughness. If you drop a ball, you know, short memory, quick feet. It's all you want. You don't want to worry about it. Go to the next play. That last play can only hurt you.
Loss of 3 as McNichols comes into the backfield, and Ryan Wolpen, the walk-on, who Brian Harsin said we're giving him some action because he hits the hole. That time the mesh wasn't there for him. 3rd down.
Yeah, a couple times, if you notice, both of the running backs on the last couple read plays, Rypien has held the ball just a little long, and it's actually changed the trajectory for the back on his path. That's him trying to read the defense just a little bit longer.
You want him to get rid of it quicker.
Yes, make a decision a little bit quicker.
Got to have the 19. Pressure coming. Rypien hit as he throws. Spurbeck couldn't break the tackle. Latipo in open space forces the field goal try.
They got what they wanted. They were running a crossing route against man-to-man, and typically that works, but great job of tracking down the receiver, stopping him from getting the first down. See right there, the little mesh route underneath across the middle. And he knew it. He feels this pressure. He sort of holds the ball and then sees it right there, and he's throwing to the guy he likes that should come open.
45-yarder for the redshirt junior, the first-year starter, Tyler Rossa. And that is through. 2 for 2 tonight for Rossa. And Boise State expands the lead back to 10. Boise isn't exactly downtown Columbus, but they have the same type of fervor for college football in this town, don't they?
This is a great college football town, a great college town, period. I think kids enjoy living here. Boise has done a great job over the years of competing in athletics and doing a great job specifically in football.
Thomas Spurbeck injured on that last drive, the leading receiver for Boise State. And now on the training table as Tyler Williams on the return for Air Force gets 2. One more play before the end of the quarter, and it's Carson Roberts slicing through to the 50, forcing another tackle from Tyler Gray. Gain of 13 for Air Force. Ends the first quarter in Boise, Idaho. Key matchup in the Mountain Division has the Broncos in the lead with a 10-point hammer early on. One quarter deep from Boise, Idaho, where the Broncos have only lost 5 times in the last 16 years. Won them last week. And holding firm so far, 15 minutes deep in a 13-3 lead. The senior Carson Roberts back under center for Air Force after a 107-yard first quarter. Roberts keeps it himself and has a lane across the 40, out of bounds, first down on a gain of 12 for Roberts, who's made some good decisions recently in the triple option.
True, 2 straight big gains, first down, gaining yardage here. This is patience by him, reading it, knows where to go with the ball, then gets out of bounds to protect his body. He doesn't want to take unnecessary hits.
Off play action. Roberts long ball down the seam, and he's got it. Down to the 1, Garrett Griffin. Gain of 38.
Garrett Griffin.
The coaches talked about Garrett Griffin would be a secret weapon tonight. He was not healthy early in the season, but he has come back now, and he's the guy they thought could end up putting some problems in the secondary for Boise.
From the 1, Roberts puts his shoulder in. No signal yet. Touchdown.
Air Force does as good a job at the quarterback sneak. I don't know if you call it a sneak there, because there's nothing sneaky about it. It's just wedging and driving into the end zone. But that previous play, and we're going to see it later on replay, will show you what can happen to the secondary if they do not keep their eyes right. That was all set up by confusing the secondary about whether it was a run or a pass. Cyberspace.
Strable the extra point. Garrett Griffin had some bad luck earlier this year. He got injured in pregame warm-ups, but he's back now. He sets up Air Force inside the 5, and Carson Roberts thunders in for a touchdown. Back to scenic Boise, where the Broncos have the lead 13-10 over Air Force. It's downtown Boise, not far from Albertson Stadium, the home of the Boise State Broncos, who will see the ball again after an Air Force touchdown of 1 yard. Returnable kick from inside the 10 for Terrell Johnson. Johnson has a seam and down to the 35-yard line. Rypien scanning as McNichols out of the backfield. downstairs for Allison and the Air Force defense.
Yeah, coach is very pleased with how they're playing on defense right now. One thing they did remind them to do is talk and communicate, especially Weston Steelhammer. He's kind of the quarterback of this defense. So coaches told him, you know the call, make sure the guys around you do as well. And then they told him to just keep grinding it out, keep counterpunching. This is what we signed up for.
Well, it's a defense that allowed 83 yards on the first play, just 85 since then. And here comes the pressure from Air Force. Rypien off his back foot, and Ladapo tangled up with Anderson. The crowd wanted a flag.
Yeah, and I don't know if he could go through the break. You know, a pass has to be catchable in order for pass interference to be called. There's a contact right there. I didn't see it there. The ball didn't come through. You need to keep your balance, be more physical. And right now, Ladapo is one of the more physical players on the field in terms of coverage.
He's made a couple nice plays in the secondary tonight.
Brown is a D-man for the Falcons.
Sean Whale on. The junior punter from California. And Garrett Brown lets it roll. A positive Boise bounce inside the 30. Roberts over the top again, and he drops it in beautifully. Jalen Robinette. Touchdown Air Force. 67 yards.
And that's not a good matchup for Boise, obviously. Jalen Robinette against Tanner Vallejo, and that's a hard thing in the open field. It's a foot speed race. As we can see right here, just take a look. Oh, there he comes inside, and Vallejo's got to try to pick him up, although he's involved in trying to do run support too if it's the quarterback sweep option. Very difficult, and that's with that conflict of assignment. That's keeping your eyes right.
First lead tonight for Air Force. Jalen Robinette had the most Air Force receiving yards in 10 years last season. This time he hits for 67, and the first advantage for the Falcons tonight. Air Force's Jalen Robinette, 67-yard touchdown to give Air Force the lead. Tanner Vallejo, the linebacker, forced to try to cover him. And the Falcons hit for another big play through the air. They've thrown for 126 now tonight. And lead Boise State. 2 wins for Air Force. And a trip to the Mountain West Championship game coming up. Johnson inside the 5. Terrell Johnson breaks a tackle and gets all the way down to the 40. Behind the freshman quarterback, Brett Rypien out of Spokane. And they will run it. McNichols. Some breakaway speed again inside the 40. Ladapo tracked him down along with Washington. The 2 corners, gain of 22 and a first down.
Nice vision and patience by McNichols. He runs a form of the dive, but he also cuts it back and winds it back to the biggest hole out there.
20 touchdowns this year for the sophomore. Rypien, pressure coming, lets it fly and incomplete. Ladapo, the one that had the hit on Rypien, who was under duress, second down.
Corner blitz. Air Force just showing that they're willing to rush anybody, bring him off the edge. He's got a free shot. And I'll tell you what, he could have done a lot of damage. Rypien just got rid of that ball, but great coverage down the field forced him to hold the football.
Roland Ladapo wants to go into pilot training after graduation, and you see Air Force does tend to bring the heat. Top 11 in the country in sacks. Freshman Rypien just 8 for 17. They will run it again with McNichols and Connor Healy, Brody Hicks together to collaborate on the stop. It's 3rd down and medium for Boise State.
Yeah, when facing 2nd and long, most people would think about the run game, the quick pass game, trying to get back to a manageable. 3rd and 5 is an either-or down. You're not probably going to run it, but you've got to throw a pass. They're probably going to jam, so you've got to take some chances, either crossing route or a timing route down the field at 6 to 8 yards.
Former quarterback, now head coach Brian Harsin has his leading receiver spur back at the bottom of the formation. Rypien fans it out the other way, and they're not going to get nearly enough to Holden Huff, the tight end. Hayes Lynn was there along with Ryan Watson. It's a loss of 2 and 4th down.
And you're saying, why run laterally? Why run routes underneath? You're hoping that those will open up throwing lanes down the field by widening the defense or pulling somebody outside. Didn't do it that time. Great job by the Air Force defense.
And now Whale to punt.
Are you saying that was an NBA move?
You can get a technical foul this year for that in college basketball. Garrett Brown, the fair catch. Air Force has brought the pressure against Rypien.
There's no question. We knew that they were coming. They're bringing guys from all angles, and he's getting hit. And the trouble is, they're bringing more people than you can protect. So the reality is, he's got to find ways to get rid of the ball. I talked about the screen game. That's an example, but that's a long developing screen. I think they need to use quicker ones because they got to protect him. They're already down one quarterback this year.
They lost Ryan Finley early on in the season. Rypien took over and has started the last 8 games for Boise State. They've thrown the ball more than 2-1 the last 3 weeks, and Rypien again facing pressure tonight. Air Force prone to long drives. 4:40 on the clock in the half. Carson Roberts hit by Vallejo after a short gain, and 2nd down.
One of the things that Air Force would like to do in this case, 4 minutes, 29 seconds left in the half. They would love to put together a drive to take it down the field, milk the clock, but get some points out of this and extend their lead.
Air Force 4th in the country in time of possession, as you might expect with the triple option. Play action again. Roberts throws and has Garrett Brown. Nice move. And Brown has a 1st down to the 40-yard line.
And both of these teams have tempo packages, which means they can go up tempo, up speed very fast. But they're all worried right now, I think, about the defense and getting in the right play. Once again, there was some pressure that time, and Roberts stood in there and delivered a good ball.
Chancellor James got beat on the outside one-on-one. Already over their season average in pass yards, thanks to a 67-yard touchdown. McVay in motion, pitch it the other way, and they get Tyler Williams to the sideline all the way across the 45. 2nd down and short.
The other interesting thing is the defense initially reacts to whichever way the quarterback opens up. It's just a natural response. He opens up one way, but he reverses his field and comes back. So you can just see this. It puts the defense on their heels. They take a half a step the wrong direction.
Already about a minute and a half on the drive for Air Force. There's that dive play, and Jacoby Owens, who wanted to break it from Moore. Vallejo the tackle and a 1st down for the Falcons. How much does this triple option wear on you as the game goes on?
Well, when you have to protect your legs, especially the knees on down, it's just grating on you. And you know that you always have to do the same assignment. I've got to cancel the dive. I've got to cancel the quarterback. I've got to take the pitch. I've got to hold my gap. And they're going to come, and Air Force is relentless in their pursuit of this. They continue to attack.
McVay off the pitch. Williams in front. Cuts it inside. McVay scores. Touchdown Air Force.
Touchdown Air Force.
Speed, execution, and blocking on the perimeter. One thing that's lost in a lot of this is that the receivers, the outside guys for Air Force, block so well. They may have blocked too well.
We were talking to Troy Calhoun during the week about his baseball fandom. This is a big inning for Air Force, the last couple of possessions. Stay tuned for an interview with Air Force head coach Troy Calhoun during halftime. But first, we go to the studio with the DXL halftime report.
Coach Calhoun, the first couple plays of the game resulted in a Boise State touchdown and an Air Force turnover. How were you able to overcome that start?
Well, you just keep hanging in there. I mean, I think we know this is going to be a four-quarter game all the way, and so they're just going to be plenty of back and forth. I think they're a very good team, and we're one of those squads that likes to compete too.
What started to click for you offensively? We saw some explosive plays. What did you do well that helped set up those big games?
Allison, it helps. I think anytime we're able to hit a few big plays in the passing game, it helps us when we run the football too.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. From the Gem State, Boise, Idaho. It was a lead for the Broncos. Air Force rampaged back to lead 24-13 at the half. Jason Benetti with College Football Hall of Famer Mike Bellotti. Allison Williams is downstairs. Look, Coach, Air Force hasn't won a league championship since 1998. This team looks the part right now.
Well, they're playing it. Their offense is running on high octane right now. They're doing all the things that they need to do, and they're putting pressure on the Boise State quarterback and not allowing them to go. Let's watch this offense just out. Start with the dive. You've got to stop the dive. If you don't stop the dive, it's a staple of the offense, but they're also capable of breaking the big play there. Off of that, let's look at the pitch, the play outside. Now, if you stack inside too much, you've got to get off blocks on the outside. If you don't, a big play is going to erupt. And then that all sets up the play action. A great pass. Quarterback Carson Roberts on the top, over the top. Robin had a mismatch for the secondary, and I'm not sure what the Boise defense was doing on that particular play.
Well, the Boise defense has seen this array from Air Force. How do you assess the defense against triple option?
Well, right now they're struggling a little bit. You look at those numbers, and they're running the ball, and then the run, the success with the run is setting up the play action, which has also resulted in several big plays.
Air Force had 24 points in the first half and no third down conversions. Let's check in downstairs to Allison, who was just with Brian Harsin.
Yeah, guys, and when Brian Harsin talked to us yesterday, he mentioned that the one thing they needed to do defensively was really limit explosive plays. They knew Air Force would gain some yards, but they couldn't let them get those chunk plays, which they have. So number one focus on defense is eliminating those explosive plays. They've been caught out of position a couple times, which was a concern for him. And the eye discipline was not what it needed to be. They got distracted in the backfield a few times, and that cost them. As far as offense goes, they have to do a better job protecting their quarterback, Brett Rypien, and they also need to get back to running the ball.
We'll see if they do that when they get the ball back. Air Force first, off the play action, and right down the middle to the tight end, Garrett Griffin, who had a big catch in the first half, and a first down here as we embark on quarter number 3. It goes for 18. Weaver the tackle.
It's always going to be interesting to watch the halftime adjustments and how they play out in the third quarter. The first drive of the third quarter, a lot of coaches believe, is one of the most important of the game. Let's see if Air Force can continue to befuddle the Boise State defense.
Plus 190 in the second quarter for Air Force's offense compared to Boise. Carson Roberts squeezes through a small hole. Armand Nance, the tackle, the senior defensive lineman, second down on the way. And what should we be watching for as Boise gets worn down against his triple option?
Well, one of the things is continuing to do your assignment, do your job, as Coach Harsin has talked about. Make sure that you trust that others will do theirs. Keep your eyes right and eliminate the potential for the big play. You've got to hang on, and you've got to change up the way you attack the offensive line, because if they know every time where you're going to line up, they can attack you correctly.
Roberts again, the keeper. Tanner Vallejo, the stop, the former defensive MVP of the Fiesta Bowl last year. Third down.
And 3rd and 4 for Air Force is an anything counts down. They can run the inside veer, the outside veer, the toss sweep. They can throw the ball off of play action. It really puts the defense in a difficult situation.
Brian Harsin wanted more energy from his sideline. He's got it right now on 3rd and 4. Rare eye look for Air Force. They pass out of it. Open man, the tight end, Griffin. Another big hit for the Falcons.
We talked about the diversity of the Air Force offense in that they can run the power eye. They can run any multitude of options out of a multitude of formations. Boise State lost the tight end, Garrett Griffin, with the play fake. Watch him. He's right there inside. He comes down like he's going to block. on Vallejo. Vallejo, once again, the victim of this. It probably is not his fault overall. However, they have to find a way to get their eyes right in the secondary.
Mentioned Garrett Griffin missed the first month of the season, plus he was injured in pregame warm-ups in the opener. He's back with a vengeance now, a 51-yard touchdown. Air Force soaring in the third quarter. Air Force's offense is to create confusion, and a discussion here between Boise State defenders.
Well, and Boise State is confusing me. They're playing without any safety help. They don't have one safety. They don't have two safeties. There's no safety helping a linebacker cover a receiver down the field, and it's hurt them very badly twice.
That was Dante Dion and Chancellor James talking it over as this kick goes out of bounds for Air Force. Tomorrow. Always fun to see what they've got in store for us, and a short run on first down for McNichols.
Boise is risking having no chance to win this game. Can they win it? Yes. But they need to score on offense with some big plays, and they need to find a key to stopping the Air Force attack. It's going to take all that. There's plenty of time left in this game. They need some good things to happen.
Not that. A drop by Rowe. Third down. This is 28 unanswered by the Air Force offense.
And I think it's partly, too, it's been the defense that has really responded. And after the first series, Boise's been held in check, and they need to do something, find a way to establish either the running game or get a quick passing game going to escape the pressure that Air Force has put on Rypien.
4 of 11 on third down for Boise. Pressure coming, had to throw it quickly and behind Rowe. Fourth down, 3 and out Boise at the wrong time.
Pressure is tough, like I said. Is this a catchable? Is a great pass? No, but at some point you've got to find a way to make a play. There is pressure. They're bringing one more that they can block. Got to try to find a way to make that play. And as this continues to go, it's going to test the confidence and the poise of the freshman quarterback, Rypien.
Fifth punt for Sean Whale. Brown waves it off and backpedals out of the way. Favorable bounce for Boise inside the 10, and it rolls to the 6. Tyler Williams to the outside, and Vallejo wraps him up. Downstairs to Allison.
Coach Harsin told us yesterday he needed to see more leadership in the face of adversity. Well, that is exactly what Kamale Correa was providing on the sideline. After giving up that touchdown, he got his defense together, and he basically told them very passionately, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of losing here. We lost here last week. We're not letting that happen again this week. We need to go out there and turn this game around and win this thing.
He's the guy that had the sack on the final play of the Fiesta Bowl of Anu Solomon last year. They thin out the defense again and use the run with Carson Roberts. Hit by Gray and a first down, so they cannot get the stop before Air Force moves the sticks. Gain of 6.
And we talked about the balance they have between the dive, the keep, and the pitch. And what it does is really stretches the defense thin. Then when you add the play action game, you have to be very aware. In order to protect for the deep play, you're going to take a little bit of the eyes away from the front and the run support initially.
Pitch to McVay. He's got the sideline and continues to churn. Let me ask you this. Can that extra energy on the sideline maybe be a detriment for Boise State, getting a little too nosy at the line and out of your gaps?
Yes, if you can't control your emotion, if it works against you, it's not good. But if you notice that time, Boise took one of the defenders, 24, back to the middle of the field. They weakened the box. You got to run from Air Force. It's a chess match about how many people in the box, where should we run the ball. If they bring them up and force it, we're going to throw the ball over their head.
It's Cameron Miles, the safety, shouldering a bigger load with Darian Thompson out with a concussion. Roberts, sideline again, McVay. Wide open players all night long for Air Force inside the 20 with Weaver on the tackle. That one goes for 56.
Cameron Miles got picked off a little bit by his own man, or slipped and fell. And the reality is, right now, you see the sort of pick by his own man right there. The wheel out of the backfield was a dagger in the side of Boise State last week. They've got to see that play. It's a dangerous thing, but it puts a linebacker typically in space on a receiver.
That says it all tonight for the fans in Boise, who haven't seen back-to-back week home losses since 1993. Jacoby Owens hopping through. Second down on the way. That was the third pass play of 50 or more tonight for Air Force.
Yeah, they're averaging something like 25 yards a pass attempt, which is very good. And we talked about Carson Roberts is not the most accurate passer. He's not a perfect passer, but he's come up with huge plays tonight, and it's been because of the running game and their ability to take advantage of that Boise State defense.
On the ground for Owens, and Weaver's been busy tonight. Third down coming up. Boise needs a stop.
Boise needs a stop. That's exactly what I was going to say. They need some momentum. Even forcing a field goal attempt here will be a positive effort for the team and can help to get them excited about this game again. Maybe have the few fans that are still here get excited about the game. But Air Force can also put a dagger in the heart by scoring a touchdown.
On the reverse, McVay. Boise has it hemmed in. Down he goes. Dante Dion. Loss of 1, fourth down.
Dante Dion, only 155 pounds, wringing wet, but they say pound for pound he's one of the best athletes, best cover corners, and best tacklers they have on the team.
Do they drench the athletes before they weigh them? How do you know when they're wringing wet? Strable to kick from 32. Straight on through. It's a 21-point game for Air Force. Falcons need 2 wins for a Mountain Division championship. They're on their way. Big plays all night for Air Force in a 34-13 lead. Boise State in uncharted territory right now. I told you they hadn't lost back-to-back games at home in back-to-back weeks since '93. Last 20-plus point loss at home was 0-1 Washington State. You know who won the Pac-10 then? That year, don't you?
I believe I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I think that might have been a Ducks win.
Yeah, might have been a game ahead of that Washington State team. One of your fond memories.
Yes, that was one of them. I'll tell you what, you always talk about that, but I'm thinking more about this game right now. And Boise State needs something good to happen, either on special teams or defense, and then back it up with some offensive prowess.
Terrell Johnson hits the 22. And see what the freshman Rypien can do. The nephew of the former NFL quarterback Mark. Tight end Rowe. And he goes thundering ahead into Ross. First down.
Okay, 2 things about that. Quick pass. Don't stress the protection. Don't stress the quarterback. Throw to a big receiver. Use the clock. They really need something positive to happen on this drive. 4th
target for Rowe, who they figured they'd use more tonight with the injury to Williams-Rhodes. And there's a bullet incomplete for Spurbeck, who's been shadowed by Latipo, the junior, all night long. Spurbeck was injured earlier. We saw him getting some work.
Yeah, he doesn't look like, he does not look like the same receiver that I watched on film last week. I think that ankle is hurting him. It's limiting his mobility and his ability to cut and break out, accelerate out of cuts.
Rypien just 12 for 29 tonight, under 100 yards. Watch the pump and go. Sideline. Anderson through his arms.
Unfortunately, that's a catch that he needed and the team needed. But a great throw by Rypien and great protection to allow him to throw that ball down the field. This is tough for a receiver. That's a hard throw on that outside shoulder. You got to track it. You got to catch the near end of the football. A lot of times you lose it up there, but you just have to catch the nearest point.
Nearly 10 drops last week against New Mexico for Rypien. Even so, he threw for 503. 3rd down now off the interception. Rypien incomplete again. and he ends up on the deck.
You know, Air Force keeping the pressure up, as we talked about. That's their mode of operation. They're going to come after you, find a way to get a hit on the quarterback. Two guys meet at the quarterback, and the ball dropped. The receivers need to support their quarterback right now.
0 for 1 for Boise on 4th down. Huge play of the game. Blitz comes, picked up, caught over the middle, spur back. They needed one, and they got him in front of Latipo. First down.
He may not get a lot of run after catch tonight, but he's still got the best hands on the team. And Rypien went in trouble, knew where to go, said, I'm going to go to my guy that can catch the football, will support me, and he got great protection that time.
Momentum building. Sideline again, spur back. Cuts inside for the touchdown.
It's a long way to come back, but that's the first step.
The offensive MVP of last year's Fiesta Bowl has a 34-yard touchdown. Air Force was driving to try and build on a lead. Broncos took over. Freshman quarterback Brett Rypien hangs in and finds his favorite target. Two-score game. The push-ups for the Boise State Bronco cheerleaders. They were starting to get a little bored over on the sideline. Hadn't scored for a while. That's the longest play for Boise, the 34-yard hit. Longest play since the first play from scrimmage, and Rypien with a more positive phone call this time upstairs.
If I'm Coach Harsin, though, I might be a little bit scared. Air Force threw an interception. We scored a touchdown. Air Force may not throw the ball again this game. They may just run it and take time off the clock. And unfortunately, with that offense, they can do that.
Tyler Williams from the 2. He'll set him up at the 24 tonight. First play, double back on the pitch. Tyler Williams strung out nicely. Raymond Ford, who had the interception on the previous drive, belted him out of bounds.
And that's the way Boise State defense played on the first play of the game. And maybe they've got that same energy back. They've got to continue to do that every down.
No need to run a play here for Air Force. They will anyway. Roberts off the freeze, down the seam, incomplete. Another chancy play call. They wanted Griffin. Third down. What say you, Coach Bellotti?
Well, they were a little bit greedy, but I guarantee you there is respect for Boise and what they can do offensively and the weapons that they have right there. They need to continue to score. I think they feel, too, that if they load the box, if Boise's playing defense to stop the run, then we need to take advantage of that and attack them in the secondary with the play-action pass.
Air Force has thrown for 279 tonight for Troy Calhoun, the former Air Force quarterback himself. Roberts on third down. Heaves it to the edge. Intercepted. Chancellor James this time, his first of the year.
Wow, that was ill-advised.
Carson Roberts hadn't thrown an interception since October 17th. He's thrown 2 in his last 3 passes. Boise State ball into the 4th quarter. We knew those Mike Bellotti dance instruction videos would pay off.
That looks semi-choreographed, yeah.
That's a kick right there. And Boise needed a little bit of a kick, too. Brian Harsin draws everybody together during the timeout. What's he saying, do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. He's saying, look, guys, look what we've just done the last 3 series. We got 2 turn takeaways and a score. This double pass. Here we go.
Spur back to Rypien.
Better throw that one away.
To row 3.
All right. But you know what? I don't think he's talking about getting people fired up. I think he's giving them the idea, guys, we can win this game. The divisional hopes are on the line right now. If you're not fired up, you can't be alive. Come on, let's go. Let's have some fun.
I want to play for you now. Second down inside Air Force territory. On the delay, McNichols swallowed up. Jacob Onichi, the junior linebacker who they call Spaceman, with a nice tackle in open field. Third down.
The hard part about a trick play on first down is that the reality is if you don't get it, you're in a long yardage situation. They ran the draw thinking they might be able to sneak one through. No dice. Air Force defense is there.
Pocket holds up for Rypien and way off the mark for Rowe. Fourth down.
A little extracurricular there. Somebody gave a player the seat, and I think Boise would like to have seen a penalty flag thrown there.
That's Mario Yaku getting a talking to from the official. And Grant Ross involved. Watch the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, that, you know, that stuff, well, too many guys involved there.
There's a
Play the
pushing
whistle.
triangle there. And he does kick it, no fake. Forced a bunch of fair catches tonight. Garrett Brown, no chance to return. Air Force gets it back. The Mountain Division leaders on the ball, up 14 late. Air Force trying to salt away a win tonight and help its Mountain Division lead. Over the middle, intercepted. They throw it again, and Weaver ripped it off.
4 consecutive series, 3 takeaways and a stop. The Boise State defense is doing everything they can to get back in this game. And he was open a little early, but a great job by the offside guy coming across to help. You see him right there tracking the ball. Great job. That play worked earlier. It did not work now.
Ben Weaver started every game this year. That's his second career interception. The first one came last week against New Mexico.
My comment about throwing the ball, I'm going to say it a little bit more firmly next time.
Just do not throw the ball.
Do not throw it.
Pile being pushed by the offensive lineman Travis Averill. About a yard on first down. The carry for McNichols. But you said the linebackers had to play well against this triple option. Weaver has had a nice night.
He's done a nice job, and that was a huge play in this game. But what Boise has to do right now is find a way to get some offense going, not just big plays, but they've got time to get a couple of drives together. Their defense is playing very, very well.
Long throw for Rypien. He has a catch for Spurbeck. Working on Jesse Washington this time. It's been Latipo for most of the night. This time he turns Washington around at a first down, gain of 13.
And that was a scary throw from the right side of the field all the way across the field. Had the corner been in a little bit better position, I'm not sure that with that young freshman at this point, he's taking some punishment. I think they're going to challenge his arm by playing him just as much man-to-man as they can.
McNichols, strong run, hit by Grant Ross. And second down and medium on the way.
I think Boise has time, as I said, to put together some drives. They're going to mix it up and keep the run, keep the defense honest.
Big play threat down at the bottom. Chaz Anderson, Spurbeck, the leading receiver with 7 catches up top. They run instead, and McNichols bottled up by Lachlan Deeks, and it's third down.
Great response by the front 7 of Air Force. There were no gaps. There was no openings there. Everybody kept their leverage. Tremendous job forcing really a play just to run it into the pile.
Third down and 4 after no gain for McNichols. We start your weekend of college football. Rypien to throw. Pocket holds up. He climbs and he fires. And as a first down, Chaz Anderson inside the 20 with Weston Steelhammer riding him down. Gain of 15 from Rypien.
Tremendous poise in the pocket. You're right. Great protection right there. They really only rushed 3. They put the zone behind it, and he found the open spot in the zone. Made the tough catch.
Run game hasn't been there. McNichols on the wheel route, had to wait for it and brought it in anyway.
Got the matchup they wanted. That was an all-out blitz, pressure package, zero coverage. They got the one-on-one match with the back coming out of the backfield. That was a tremendous throw. Rypien threw that ball way before the receiver was open. He threw him open.
First and goal from the 3 after a 14-yard hit. McNichols off the counter, feeling his way to the 2.5, and Air Force stacks him up.
Now you want the right play, but time is becoming an issue. You can't allow it to burn too much time between plays.
See the tempo, and Thomas Stewart has checked in to play quarterback. The sophomore in for Rypien. There's a quarterback run. Stewart keeps his feet and in.
We talked about, Coach Harsin talked a lot about the need for design quarterback runs in the red zone, and Rypien was not necessarily the guy to do that. This is just a pure power run. You can see they got everybody there. They're all blocking. There's no fake involved, no pass look. It's just run the ball, and a great patience by Thomas Stewart.
Weaver set it up with the interception. 8 plays, 52 yards. Rypien triggered it. Stewart closed it. The sophomore makes it a 1-score game in Boise. Some beautiful sights here in Boise, Idaho. Best seen at 300 miles an hour. The Ponderosa Pines Scenic Byway, driven by Craig Janik from our crew. Earlier today, very safely, we sped it up. It's a 7-point game. Air Force with the lead. Turnovers have hurt the Falcons. Thomas Stewart takes it in on the touchdown run, the redshirt sophomore for Boise. And there's high energy on the sideline again off the Weaver interception to lead to the touchdown. Williams touched it at the 1, never established, and takes the knee for a touchback. Last 3 games entering this one, no Air Force turnovers, 4 tonight. 17 Boise points off of them. Early action, McVay off the pitch, which looked dicey, and Tyler Gray knocks him down.
What's the difference in the Boise defense? Are they fired up? Are they doing the assignments any differently? Maybe. Maybe they're half a step quicker right now because they know they have a chance to win this football game.
Outside shot at a Mountain Division championship. They have to have the win tonight.
We talked about the different formations that you see. Now, quarterback in the shotgun, 2 backs.
Sped up with 2 to snap it. Roberts, the pitch. And Weaver on the sideline gets shot. Nice run by Owens for the first down.
Good job of finishing the run. Broken some tackles. Great job. And this is a whole different thing. Like I said, totally different look here. You can see the read. There's the pitch. And actually, Roberts gets a block there on a key person to allow the running back to continue Owens down the field.
Got 10, first down. All 3 timeouts left for Boise State. Dive play. Owens spins for 6.5. Second down on the way, and Boise State, a team that's won a league title 10 of the last 14 seasons, wants to turn it back over to the young quarterback Rypien.
We've talked about it all night. You've got to stop the dive first. Whenever they line up in the double wing set, stop the dive first, force the issue, maintain your leverage, use the sideline as your 12th defender.
Dive play again. They don't stop it. Owens hops through for a first down. Cameron Miles, the safety, had to come up and finish the deal, and Jacoby Owens has been the key man after 2 touchdowns last week in the win against Utah State.
You need to decide, too, when you start using your timeouts, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen right here. If they get some type of a stop on first down, they start using the timeouts.
On an average of 332 rush yards a game, Air Force over 300 tonight.
And watch that clock. He should snap it with under 5 seconds.
Did it with 5 that time. Pitch it for Owens, who's played both fullback and halfback tonight, and gets crushed out of bounds by Miles. Another first down, but the clock does stop as Owens is out of bounds.
But I believe only until the resetting of the chains, because it's not under 2 minutes.
So at the 3-minute mark, they will roll it. Gain of 15 for Owens.
You know, timeouts don't matter if you can't stop them on defense.
Owens again. He's got a couple. We were talking to Marcel Yates, the defensive coordinator for Boise State. He said, look, 2nd down 7, 3rd and 4, that's where they like to live. And a couple yards that time. 2nd down, timeout, Boise State. Boy, back-to-back home games, back-to-back weeks. Haven't done it since 1993. And Brian Harsin over on that sideline has got to be wondering what's it going to take at this point to play a full game, especially with what's on the line tonight. I mean, he told us that this team needs to know what's available in this game. They still have a chance to win the division. At points, they've played like it tonight.
They have, and they've been their own worst enemy at times too. And they've played in spurts in this game, and you have to be consistent to win a championship. Brian Harsin is a great young coach, and he believes he has a great staff. He's got to get the players and the coaches all on the same page so they can execute the game plan.
19-5 as the head coach at Boise State, down to 2.5 on their Mountain West title hopes this season. 2nd and 7 for the senior Roberts. Keeps it himself. And Vallejo over there with Chancellor James. Timeout. 1 remaining for Boise State. 2:25 to play. 3rd down and 4. Borderline field goal range for Air Force. Dive play for Roberts on the hand to Owens, and he's about a yard short. Final timeout for Boise State. Now a decision for Troy Calhoun. Do you go for it? Do you kick the field goal, a long field goal, to try and make it a 2-score game?
I believe with what they've been doing offensively, they should go for it. They can run. They're the best team. We've talked about the quarterback sneak or the quarterback power from under center, whatever you want to call it. They do it very, very well. And then the option is difficult to stop for less than a yard. So I would not be surprised at all if he wanted to kick the ball. A lot of things can happen with a kick. You miss it, it's blocked, or whatever the case may be. I would put more faith and trust in them running the ball on that 4th and 1 for the first down.
Strable perfect tonight. It's from 45, would be his long of the year. It is up. Strable got it.
Great choice by the coach. After the fact, I give him total credit for that. Obviously a 2-score game now. See, Boise tried to time the jump. Great job. And certainly a lot of excitement and relief at that point.
That's the 2nd kicker on Air Force's roster. Drew Early, the regular kicker, is injured with a hamstring problem, so Strable is the guy they call on to put them, at least at this point, 1 win away next week at New Mexico from a Mountain Division Championship at the very least. With a New Mexico loss tomorrow, Air Force would go into the Mountain West Championship game. With 2:11 to play, Terrell Johnson to the 35. Oh my, very close as Tyler Jackson got him by the shoelaces. Brett Rypien, freshman quarterback, sideline and incomplete. Latipos done a nice job when he's been on Spurbeck tonight, who had 20 catches, Spurbeck that is, last week. By the way, Air Force 37 points on a -4 in the turnover margin. FBS teams this year that are -4 turnovers are 3-51. Might be 4 and 1 and change. Rypien to Rowe, the tight end, and he's short of the line to gain. Timeouts exhausted for Boise State, which led on the opening play from scrimmage, an 83-yard touchdown run with Allison Williams, Mike Bellotti, Jason Benetti, our entire crew in Boise. Tip ball for Rypien, and the contact legal with the tip by Brody Hicks on the coverage. The tip from DJ Dunn. 4th down and 1. The game for Boise State, despite the Air Force turnovers, the interceptions mounted, but the Falcons have held the line defensively.
I would run this. You get a first down, it's going to stop the clock anyway.
Rypien has a completion. Rowe turns the corner and inside the 40. 90 seconds to go. Heartbeat continues for Boise State.
Rowe is the clutch player the coaches talked about. They needed him. They thought he could be a secret weapon for him tonight. They got to find him a few more times.
That one goes for 19. Rypien from the backside, hit and stripped. Ball loose.
There was no whistle. I don't know if that's...
Alex Hansen came on the pressure. That was a live ball.
A fumble. Yeah.
Clock continues. 1:10 to go. A lot of time coming off. 4-man rush over the middle. Rypien the completion and inside the 25-yard line for a first down. This one goes to Sean Monster, his first catch.
In that situation, you have to have your receivers be able to play both sides. You shouldn't have to wait for them to line up on the other side of the field.
Off the placement of the ball. Rypien sideline, end zone. Spurbeck was impeded by Latipo, but not enough to draw a hanky.
Yeah, they're going to take some shots, and obviously, if they get a chance to get that ball in the end zone, they will do the onside kick. The first things first, find a way to score. A little bit of push there. The ball's in the air. That could have been called, in all honesty.
Could make the argument to take the field goal here as well. Set up the one-score game, then go onside kick.
Yep.
Rypien is sacked again. Alex Hansen, the sack leader for Air Force.
Got to do something. Got to have a play here.
6th sack tonight of Rypien. 25 seconds to go. Rypien launches.
Got it.
Out of bounds. Chaz Anderson.
A little bit too far. He was open. Ball needed to be thrown about 2 steps earlier, but he was sliding in the pocket. And unfortunately, not one of the longest receivers that has the range. Couldn't quite corral it anyway, but he's trying to keep his foot down in bounds.
Could have made the argument to kick the field goal a couple of plays ago. They will bring out Rossa now with 17 seconds to go. 4th and 13. Trying to make it a one-score game. Rossa from 45. Fading. And snuck it through. 11 seconds to go. 7-point game. We need a touchdown if you're a lip reader.
Yeah. We need to recover the onside kick first, I think.
Rossa has it teed up. There's the movement. Live ball out of bounds.
Had a chance right there because really nobody touched it. If a Boise player could, it would have gone 10 yards.
Free kick out of bounds. 5-yard penalty be enforced from where the ball went out of bounds. Air Force's ball at that spot, first down.
Well, big plays in the passing game tonight for Air Force. Told you they're the third best rushing team in the country. They did it with explosive plays pass-wise, 279 through the air for the Air Force Falcons.
Over 600 yards of offense. Very, very balanced. And they did some damage with the passing game to both themselves and to their opponents, unfortunately. Allowed Boise to get back in the game at the end with some interceptions.
Back-to-back years, Air Force has beaten Boise State. First back-to-back losses in consecutive weeks at home in 22 years for the Broncos.
Very difficult for Brian Harsin and the Boise State Broncos.
Air Force wins it 37-30 in Mountain West play. That's our final score from Boise. NBA tonight is next.